You guys. Okay, I'm still really excited. I am still so excited for Planet Zoo that I have not really been able to compose my thoughts for the last week. I have been trying very adamantly to read through all of the interviews. I watched the 1-hour Twitch announcement of Planet Zoo and the interviews they did with some of the developers, and I was going to be very professional and appear toward you with all of this information gathered and a excellent meticulous top 10 list of reasons why I am so excited for Planet Zoo thus far, holding back my reservations as one should do whenever a new game comes out. But it's me, so instead I have spun around in circles being ridiculously excited, and I am forcing myself to sit down and actually tell you guys, based off of the stuff we know so far, why am I so excited about Planet Zoo? And I'm going to try to keep it to 10 things, though I could go on much longer. And I have even made a list. I have taken meticulous notes, and I will do my best not to overwhelm you guys with my sheer excitement. So, yes, this is carrying on about Planet Zoo, which is a new game that has been developed and is going to be coming out through Frontier. For those of you guys who don't know, the Frontier umbrella also covers games like the 2013 Zoo Tycoon for the Xbox, which was ported to PS3 through the Microsoft Store. That's how I play it on all of our all of our Zoo Tycoon for 2013 games that we play. I also have hundreds of episodes of the Zoo Tycoon 2 series, and I adamantly played the original Zoo Tycoon as well, so I kind of love the genre. And Frontier is the same umbrella that made the 2013 Zoo Tycoon with the 3D animals, the really fancy 3D animals with their pretty little fur, and they also have made Jurassic World Evolution and Planet Coaster. So you mix all of that together and you get what I hope is going to be one of my all-time dream games. Yeah, I kind of have my hopes sky high, and I'll just have to ride out the risk of that because I am so excited, and I'd rather be super duper excited and just go into it thrilled and enthusiastic. So all of that rambling aside, let's get to it. Professional Siri activate. Alright, so for 10 reasons why I'm so excited about Planet Zoo, the number one thing is definitely that it is hopefully going to be a very flexible zoo building game. In a lot of the more modern zoo builders, you kind of plunk and plop habitats. And the habitats often look really cool, like in the 2013 Zoo Tycoon, but I want that nitty-gritty detail. I want to be able to be like, that rock goes there, I'm building a waterfall in the hippo enclosure here, I want to have a beautiful like tram go over my giraffe exhibit, I want to give my giraffes an entire mountain that they can appreciate in the backdrop. All of those things I'm pretty hopeful will be in Planet Zoo because it does come from the same place that Planet Coaster comes from. And Planet Coaster, you really do have the tools to build brick by brick anything you can dream of. I'm hoping a lot of that is going to then come into Planet Zoo so that we can really sculpt habitats that thrill us, that really make us proud and excited to get down in there and go, what does my zebra herd really want? What does my bear really want? And to build them a world that doesn't really have a lot of limits. There'll of course be limitations, but I'm talking about limits compared to what the past few Zoo Tycoons or many of the management games have offered. So I'm really excited about that part for sure. Oh my goodness, because you're really going to wonder how your animals can best succeed in those areas and how you can kind of create that relationship between how guests and animals can interact. So being able to build things literally from the ground up is hugely appealing to me. My hopes are that it's going to have a lot of the characteristics, if not the literal nuts and bolts, no pun intended, of Planet Coaster in Planet Zoo. So we have to see just how in-depth you can go with building, but everything I've read and all of the interviews really sound like it's going to be somewhat similar, if not quite as detailed as Planet Coaster. And that means you're going to have a lot of options. You're going to have a lot more freedom than many of the other zoo management games or wildlife management games that I have seen in the past few years. So that's really exciting. But what's also really exciting is that these animals are going to be so realistic looking. Number 2 on my 10 facts of things why my 10 reasons why I'm excited is that these animals are going to be animated beautifully. Just the screenshots alone have blown me away with the detail to fur texture, to claws, to the way the eyes kind of look on the animals. They don't have a kind of spooky or empty look to them. They are very vibrant and very alive. I really love just watching my dinosaurs in my Jurassic World Evolution series. I mean, you guys know that's like what I do all the time. I'm on the ground watching my dinosaurs going, whoa, these look so cool. So to be able to do that with some of the animals that share our world with us in digital format is just going to be so exciting. Everything that I've seen so far in the screenshots and little snippets really, and in the interviews, everyone is saying that they're beautifully animated. The detail to sound, the detail to textures, the detail to animations really evoke a lot of the same feelings of awe and fascination that you have watching their real life counterparts show up. So I'm really excited about that, because the more that people think that they're so cool and they spend time down on the ground in camera mode watching the animals move around, the more I'm really hoping they're going to become fascinated by the animals that they can interact with and want to go and learn more about them. And as a pixel biologist who does this because I A, love being a storyteller, but B, love the natural world and want to really encourage people to share that passion and to share this big amazing planet we have together with me, that's really exciting, because the way that you get somebody in love with the world is by sparking their sense of curiosity, wonder, and awe. And if you get to spend time building brick by brick a habitat for your lion, and then you get to be on the ground and watch your pixel lion go through animations and behaviors and sounds and looks and like the muscles moving that evoke a lot of the real feelings that you feel for real lions, I'm hoping some of that awe and wonder and sense of protectiveness and stewardship will carry over into real life. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about that too, and I could ramble on about that for a long time, but let's move on to number 3, because I need to move on pretty quickly. There's just so much, I'm so excited. But number 3 is the genome. So another one of the things that has really been lacking in many zoo management games is the feeling of the animals as individuals. And in Zoo Planet, the genome is going to be one of the core game mechanics, where each animal is going to have its own unique genome. You can't say that about like our Jurassic Park evolution animals, because they don't even have unique personalities, and they're kind of literally clones of each other, like literally. You might change a few things. Well, they do have unique genomes because you can splice and dice the genes, but this is going to be more, each animal will really be an individual. And I'm very excited about that, especially with the rumors and the talk and the subtle references I've heard to each animal having different kinds of personality. That is going to immediately make it so that when you are in there with your herd of zebra, for instance, if you have really dominant individuals and you have really shy individuals, or individuals who might be very gluttonous, I don't know if those are personality traits that will actually appear in the game. This is just kind of giving examples. But if you have all of that in your one little zebra herd, then instead of floating over and being like, yeah, those are my zebras, you're gonna stop and you're gonna go, how's Shy Guy going? Is he just really avoiding the rest of the herd again today? Or is like Dominique being really dominant over the entire herd? You're going to see stories evolve from your animals with those unique personalities. And that genome also means that you're going to have unique coat patterns. You're going to have subtle differences between all of the animals that make them more individualistic to you and make it so that there's more of a sense of a story immediately, literally built in to their genes, which is awesome. I love storytelling. And of course that leads me with those unique genes to number 4 on my list. The babies. You can breed them, and that is something I was a little worried would kind of be sort of like to the side or just a fun little mechanic, but many of the interviews that I have read and a few of the conversations that people had on Twitch really indicated that breeding is actually a core mechanic of Planet Zoo. It's something that is expected to be done. A few of the devs even described it in their interviews as being a zoo management and breeding game. That is how much of an emphasis there is on that. And for a game, that's awesome. We're gonna put aside the conversation of real life breeding to the side for now and focus on the fact that this is a game, it's gonna be fun. And one of the things that everybody tends to love to do with their animal games is have bebés. So I am very excited about that, because then you take that unique genome and you mix in the fact that you can have breeding to inherit traits of that genome, and suddenly you have not only the stories of the individuals, but their children and their children's children and their children's children. And that's going to be a lot of fun, because if I've learned anything over doing this for so long and telling stories and games for so many years and thousands of episodes of it, it's that longevity in games continues to supply the story. If you can create a way to have your game give you legacy, which is easily done through your characters who you fall in love with, that zebra herd having babies, then you're gonna watch Shy Guy's grandson suddenly become the dominant zebra because his personality tweaked a little bit, and there's a whole story there because you have lineage. And when you can build lineage into games, especially games revolving around animals or people, it supplies so much more story. So I'm very excited for that, especially because what if you decide you want to start doing selective breeding? I'm hoping that will be a really easy mechanic to explore. So if you end up like with a cheetah who has tinier spots than usual, giving random examples that may or may not appear in the game, what if you try to go for the tiniest spotted cheetahs possible? So you separate the tiny spot cheetah and you find another tiny spot cheetah and you try to make really tiny spots on these cheetahs. Or what if you want to have really shy zebra for some reason? Maybe you take two shy zebra and you have them breed a whole bunch of other shy zebra, and then you see how they behave so differently. You could make two identical exhibits and put your super shy zebra and a normal herd of zebra in them, and then see how they behave differently, which would be amazing and so cool. And does actually lead me to number 5 on the list. The social interactions between the animals have gotten a lot of attention. Animals that travel in herds together will actually move in herds together. Animals that don't want anything to do with each other, like bears, won't want anything to do with each other. From what I have heard, no pun intended, and from some of the glimpses I have gotten in reading the interview questions, I'm hoping the social behaviors of the animals will be much more realistic as well. In the Twitch stream, the developers really talked about how they had literal pages, almost books of notes of everything about how these animals interacted. And social behaviors are also what make those animals so interesting for us to watch. So I'm really hopeful that there is a lot of social dynamic mixed in there, especially when you're talking about things like elephant herds. Any of you who really love to study animals will know that they are very complex family groups, where a very old matriarch will lead the elephant herd and will have younger females in her group. Most of the elephant herds tend to be of related females. You have cousins and aunts and nieces all together, with some of the periphery bachelor males who will kind of wander at the edges. I really would love to see if that is going to end up becoming part of Planet Zoo. One of the things that a lot of games get done really well, depending on the technology of the era, is making making the management sim and making the animals look cool. But to take it to another level and actually not only make the animals' animations look realistic, but their behavior with each other realistic based off of the things that they do in real life, is not something I have seen done super well yet, to the point where I'm really like, wow, that reminds me of how elephants act in the wild. Wow, that is how lions act with each other in the wild. I'm really excited to see if this may be the first time that I really feel ground is broken on that, because it's gonna educate so many people. It's going to bring the reality of that kind of life that the animals are living into so many people's homes and minds, and that just thrills me. So I have very high hopes about the social interactions. The things I have learned so far indicate that they should be pretty good, but time remains, to see if just how the zebras herd, how the elephants move around. If you stick 6 bears in one group, You can't expect them all to get along because those guys like to have a lot of territory. How do the wolves interact? Watching how the wolf packs interact and their dynamic is going to be amazing too. So yeah, kind of super excited about that. And that also goes into number 6 on my little list here, the behavioral details to the animals that will result in detailed needs. Another thing that has always bugged me with a lot of zoo management games, they can look pretty, the management part's fun, but the animals aren't very realistic for a variety of reasons, and the behavioral needs of those animals are one of them. I'm so excited because what I've read in the interviews indicate that you will need to be aware of these specific needs of, say, your hippos, for instance. You can't just make the same style exhibit and put 2 of each animal in each one and have them be content with life anymore. That's not how it works in real life with any creature, from your cats to your dogs, your hamsters, your gerbils. Like, you don't, my crested geckos, you don't make the same 3 or 4 types of homes for them and stick them all in the same thing. That's not how it works. And I always felt like it wasn't being fair to the idea of a zoo management game to not acknowledge how cool it is and how challenging it can be to address each of the individual animals' needs. For instance, the example I'll use here, because I'm rambling so much about this because I'm so excited, is hippos. Hippos need very deep water, and they actually get a little possessive about that water. Their bodies are super heavy, so they want to spend most of the day in the water resting, and then at night is when they feel comfortable with leaving the water, and they graze a ton around the grass around their home. And it's just, oh, now instead of just putting down like a water trough for a hippo, you actually need to think about how deep you made the water. Is it going to be deep enough for your hippo? Do you have the right type of grass around the enclosure for your hippo? Those are things that are going to be part of the game. Like, that's awesome. And that is awesome because of number 7 on my list. Number 7 special. Number 8 is super special, so hang in there. But yeah, so number 6, I'm very excited about those detailed needs. It may seem meticulous to some people, but that's kind of what the world is. That's kind of what animals' specific enclosure needs are. It's pretty meticulous. They have very specific requirements. So I'm really excited for that, very excited for that. And it does kind of tie into number 7 that I'm super excited about. The guests have educational needs. You are not only inviting these people in to empty their wallets and help you grow your exhibits even larger, but you are also inviting them in because you are going to educate them about the animals that come in. That makes me really happy because at the end of the day, that is what a good accredited zoo does. That's why they exist, to protect pockets of animals that otherwise are watching their habitats be completely destroyed in the world, and to also bring animal ambassadors in, treat them like royalty, and hopefully do your best to educate the people who come and visit so that they will go back and they will try to change their lives. They'll try to do things to help the environment and push us all towards being able to take care of this planet together. That sounds really like preachy kind of, but it's the truth. We all are in on this together, and one of the ways that I find to be the most effective in like years and years and years of environmental activism and working with different educational groups is animal ambassadors. People open up for animals in ways that they just don't with other humans, and they just don't confronted with the news on the news every day. When they actually look at some of the animals that they fall in love with, the exotic and the unknown that otherwise they would have never seen in person, it brings the reality of your actions hopefully having an impact on that creature's native population on the other side of the world to home, to life, to your heart. So that's why I think that good accredited zoos are so important, and I am thrilled that educating people is literally a part of Planet Zoo. They exist not just to be a theme park, not just to pull in money, not just to try to get those profit margins up or watch your herd of zebra roam, but also to educate the little pawns of people who will be coming into the game as well. And then number 8, because I'm really rambling, so I'll try to move on. Number 8, there's giraffes. There's giraffes in Planet Zoo, and that's all I need. There's giraffes on my dress. There's giraffes all around my room. There are giraffes in my heart. There's giraffes in Planet Zoo, and that makes me so happy because I am one of those people who I knew about giraffes. I'd seen them before. And then one day I wandered into the St. Louis Zoo. Funny story, that's where this guy's from. And it was cold, so the giraffes were in the giraffe barn. And I walked into the giraffe barn, looked up, and fell in love. Even though I already had been an activist for the environment for quite a while, even though I already was in love with it, I already was literally teaching people, children at a nonprofit, about animals. When I looked up and saw those giraffes, like so close, and actually saw their eyelashes, it was love. So there's going to be giraffes in Planet Zoo, and I am going to make them so many beautiful exhibits. But not just them, because number 9 on my list is actually the fact that there are going to be over 50 animals at launch, which makes me so happy. I was really, when I first heard about it, hoping that, oh, there'll be tons and tons of animals. But when I learned about how detailed and how in-depth they have gone on all of the different species that will be appearing, how the animations, the textures, the sounds, the social behaviors, all of that must be so much work to code per animal. And I know there's like ways and tricks that you can make it easier, but when I learned just how detailed each animal would be, learning that we get 50 of them when the game releases just made me so excited. And among those actually include elephants, wolves, bears, lions, giraffes, lemurs, peacocks, and even orb spiders, which I'm really hoping, like from the sounds of it, they're not just going to be in a little tank like they are in so many Zoo Tycoons, where you buy a tank and it's a spider and you stick it in the corner next to the bathroom and there, you did your duty. You're teaching people about spiders. Instead, the spiders too will also have their own needs, and you'll have to think about how to take care of them too, which makes me really happy. So many of the interviews I read when the people talked about the spiders were like, ew, spiders, you could even take care of them. But I'm really hoping that because you can really even take care of them, it will make people more compassionate and fascinated to learn about the spiders and their place in our world too. So yeah, kind of excited about that as well. And then finally, number 10, the fact that you will be able to share your zoo. The fact that you will be able to take your imagination to create the most beautiful world that you can dream of, and you will be able to put it on the Steam Workshop and share it with everyone else. That is going to be amazing. There is no other Zoo Tycoon game that I have played that, other than swap and save files, you could really share the builds of what you created for your zoo. And the idea of sharing some of your guys' builds, of being able to take my dreams and share them with you, and take your dreams and see how it is to be down and to see like your animals. Imagine being able to hear your stories about this herd of elephants that you followed for 10, 11, 12 generations, and then to actually be able to go into that world and see what happens. That would be so amazing. Think of the challenges we could do, being able to create special, unique zoo setups and share it with each other and see how everybody's zoo ends up different from the same seed of a challenge. That is something that I have never had in any Zoo Tycoon game before, and I am so excited to have it now. So I'm gonna make sure that's everything. Yeah. And that's everything. And not really everything. There's a lot more I'm excited about. And if you can't tell, they're kind of interrelated to each other. Kind of the way that, you know, my passion for the natural world is interrelated with pretty much everything we do here. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I really am so excited for Planet Zoo. I hope you guys are too. For me, as a pixel biologist, I'm in a very unique position to appreciate it not only as a game that I will love, not only as a game that I hope everybody else will love too, but also as something that I really hope can be one of those tools, those surprising, unexpected ways that we can have seeds of hope for the future planted, because we will be exposed to something that makes us curious, something that makes us kind of compassionate about this planet and makes us wonder, you know, okay, I really liked Bertha and I followed her elephant herd for 14 generations. I wonder if there's anything even something small I could do to help out elephants in real life. That's what I'm hoping for the most. Is just a way for people to find a passion, find their excitement in this game, and then from that place of, instead of feeling pressured or shamed or overwhelmed like you can often feel on the news, being excited and hopeful and feeling that you can shape the environment that we share in the world around you, just like you'll be able to shape the mini zoos that you'll be able to build in Planet Zoo. So yeah, my hopes are high in a lot of different ways. I'm really excited to see Planet Zoo come out, and I'm not even done talking about it. So I will see you guys for more updates as I get a smattering of screenshots and more news begins to roll out over the next few weeks and months, and hopefully we'll have a lot more to talk about before it even arrives. Until then, I do hope you guys will enjoy our return to Zoo Tycoon and Zoo Tycoon 2, as well as Jurassic World Evolution, kind of a sampling of two things from Frontier and one of my favorite all-time Zoo Tycoons ever, and any other adventures that we get up to here in the Pixel Biology community. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you could, do please leave a like for Chickenberry, and if you would like to join us on this and literally thousands of our adventures, do please consider subscribing. But until next time guys, stay curious. Bye guys.